Alright, y'all. AEW Dynamite review for February 2nd, 2022. First match, John Maxley versus Wheeler Yuda. They exchange chops back and forth. Moxley hits a pile driver for a near fall. Moxley locks in a face lock, like the STFU, like Cena used to do. Yuda gets to the ropes. Yuda hits a drop kick and then enziguri. Moxley spikes Yuda's head off the apron. The guy with the cape, I guess, I forgot his name. He distracts Moxley, and then Yuda attacks him from the top rope. Yuda hits a German suplex for a near fall. Moxley hits an RKO cutter. Yuda hits a diving splash off the top rope for a near fall. Moxley puts Yuda in a sleeper hold, a clothesline. Moxley hits paradigm shift for the win. It was a solid opening match. And then, the really good stuff happened after the match. So Daniel Bryan shows up. And then he grabs a mic and he says, "Is this the match you all want to see?" The crowd says yes. And then he says he's wanted to fight Moxley for a long time because he was different. He says we've seen a new John Moxley since he came back. He says he wanted to test Moxley. He tells him Moxley is the greatest AEW World Champion the company has ever had. Said they shouldn't be fighting each other. They should be fighting alongside each other. Guess they might be making a faction soon. And he says, deep inside of me, we should be fighting together. And he goes at some of the other talent. He says, there's no reason why a Millennial Cowboy should be AEW World Champion. There's no reason why someone creating a blog should be AEW World Champion. He says, even if the crowd does not like him, they like what he's talking about. And then he says, I want you to think about the greatness we can create. So it looked like it was going to be a one-on-one match. So now it looks like it could be a faction. So yeah, it could be interesting. Alright, next segment, Dan Lambert and Brandi Rhodes. This was just a hilarious segment. So Brandi's in the ring and then Dan Lambert just comes out. Dan says they may have given her a reality show, but he was going to give her a reality check. Dan said he felt like a decent person standing next to her. And then Brandi tells Ethan Page, the only reason we hired you was to get Josh Alexander. I don't know who that is. And then Brandi says, Dan, your best fighter lost to Jake Paul for a Tyron Woodley. Then she brings up Amanda Nunes. And then she says, we won't go there. That's a bit of a soft spot. And then Dan says it's time for the Rhodes family to go heel. The only face turn anyone would buy from her is going face down like her old job. And then Brandi slaps Dan, and then Paige Van Zant comes out. They just grab each other, and then the rest of the women just come out to separate them. I don't know. I guess they're going to set up a match with them. Brandi Rhodes and Paige Van Zant. Alright, next match. We got House of Black versus Death Triangle, Penta and Pac. It's Brody King and Malachi Black. Alright, so beginning of the match, Pac's wearing like a, what do you call it, like a bandana wrap or something. Just because he got sprayed in the mist, so he just takes it off. He was just joking around, I guess. I don't know what's going on. And then Penta and Pac, they both do dives outside the ring. Back from commercial, Penta hits 2 sling blades. Pac hits a shotgun drop kick. Penta hit a backstabber. Pac hit a German suplex and a brainbuster on Malachi. Penta jumps on the second rope and dives outside the ring on the Brody King. That was a cool move. Malachi spits the black mist into Penta's face. And Malachi Black and Brody King hit Dante's Inferno for the win. This is an okay match, I guess. Alright, next match, we got Ruby Soho versus Nyla Rose. Nyla hits a suplex on Ruby for a near fall. Nyla hits a Death Valley driver for a near fall. Back from commercial. Ruby is carrying Nyla on her back and drives her face first into the apron. Nyla hits a neck breaker on Ruby on the middle ropes. Nyla she hit a swanton bomb like Jeff Hardy on Ruby, and then she picked her up and did a Batista bomb. I don't know what she calls the move, but yeah, so she did that for the win. And there's a segment in the back. Gun Club, they beat up Jungle Boy and they're outside and they throw him in the snow. In Chicago, there's a foot of snow there. All right, next we got Adam Page segment. He basically just calls out Lance Archer. Archer comes out and they just brawl for a bit, and then he hits him in the chair he hits Page in the back with a chair. He flips the steps on its side, and this was a cool spot. So he choke slams Page onto the side of the steps, and then he hits the blackout on the Adam Page onto the table that's outside the ring. Next segment was Jericho in the back. He says last week it was disrespectful, embarrassing what Santana Ortiz did to him. He says we started together, being the inner circle. Tells Santana and Ortiz to show up next week. Attendance is mandatory. It's like a damn high school teacher or something. I don't know. Alright, main event. This is pretty much what everybody came to see. MJF or CM Punk. Alright, so beginning of the match, they brawl outside, they go in the crowd, come back in the ring, Punk body slams him, MJF 4 times. Each time he would do a body slam, the crowd would just say, one more time. So he just kept doing them. Punk collides shoulder first into the ring post after MJF moves out the way. Back from commercial. Punk hits a diving splash on MJF. And then Punk hits a neck breaker on MJF. Then he did his classic, hits the running knee on MJF in the corner, and hits the bulldog. Punk is about to hit an elbow drop, and then MJF gets up, moves the ropes, and then causes Punk to fall on the turnbuckle. Okay, so MJF locks up Punk's arm, and then he just flips him off the top rope. And then Punk hits a Pepsi twist on MJF. MJF has a sleeper on Punk. He rips some of his wrist tape off to choke him. Referee didn't see it because he put it inside of his arm. And then Punk just, I think he just passed out or tap out or pass out. I can't remember. But then ref raises his arm. And then the tape falls down. The ref sees it. And then he goes over to the announcer and tells him, oh, let's restart the match. And MJF's all pissed off and stuff. So they restart the match. Alright, so then they're going to go commercial after a bit. Punk hits a springboard clothesline. MJF hits a double stomp off the ropes on Punk's arm. And then he puts Punk in a submission. Punk counters into a did he call it an STF? And then Punk lets go. He let go of it. MJF locks in an ankle lock. Punk counters. Both exchange punches. MJF hits a chop block on Punk. MJF low blows Punk with the ref turned around in the corner. MJF put his feet on the ropes and Punk kicks out. MJF just doing anything he can to win. Back from commercial, they're in the corner fighting. MJF bites Punk's fingers and then he bites his head. And then Punk bites MJF's head. Okay, so this is probably the best spot of the match. So they're on the top rope. Punk hits a pedigree off the top rope. And then MJF goes for a tombstone. Punk counters for a near fall. Punk hits an elbow drop on MJF for a near fall. And then MJF is lying. So this is the end of the match. MJF is lying outside the ring. Wardlow comes out and he's like, he doesn't know what to do. Should he help MJF or not? And then Wardlow and Punk have a stare down and he moves out the way. Punk tosses MJF back in the ring. The ref is looking at Wardlow. And so is Punk. And then MJF hits Punk with something in his finger, chain or ring or something. And then they showed it at the end of the match. Wardlow gave MJF the ring while staring Punk down. So it's going to be interesting next week to see what happens. It's probably going to be a segment with Wardlow and Punk. He's going to be pissed off next week. It was a great main event. All right, see you guys.